Welcome everyone to Automation Best Practices with JavaScript. We are super excited to have you all. This event really has two purposes. I was just kind of living my life and thinking, hey, this last few years have kind of been sucky for all of us, right? And I wanted to do something good for the world and the industry. And so what good can I do? Well, I can share my testing experience and some skills that I've learned, and hopefully, send you all off with those skills and help you to be better at your jobs. And also at the same time, I was like, hey, why don't we all gather together and help a greater cause than ourselves? The charity we're sponsoring today is Black Girls Code. Black Girls Code build a pathway for young women of color to embrace the current tech marketplace as builders and creators by introducing them to skills in computer programming and technology. Radical action is needed if we are to close the opportunity gap for Black women and girls. We lead a global movement to establish equal representation in the tech sector. Black Girls Code is devoted to showing the world that Black girls can code and do so much more. Together, we are creating stronger economies and more equitable societies, ultimately realizing the true potential of democracy through diversity and inclusion. If you haven't already, please make sure you have a ready environment for coding. This is a hands-on workshop, so we'll be doing stuff together. You can come here. Let me drop this URL here. And we're going to be working from here. Okay, we're working from this folder, Testing for Charity in GitHub. All the information is there. Thank you so much, Susie, for sharing the URL. All the details are here. That you all can see in this kind of what we're progressing. What I hope that you'll learn today is how to test a web application using different types of tests. It's going to be a React web application, one of the most popular front-end web testing frameworks. Front-end web frameworks, not web testing frameworks. Functional UI tests with Cypress, visual end-to-end tests, visual cross-browser tests, CI/CD with GitHub Actions, and component testing. Here's the technologies that we're going to use. And there's a table of contents for us to follow along, so that these are in sequential order. So they do build on top of each other. It's not necessary to do one before the other, but as I said, they do build on top of the skill. So if you, for example, skip ahead to component testing, you'll learn how to do component testing, but you might not have a complete picture of how that relates to end-to-end testing or visual testing, for example. And we're going to go in this order, and each one has different exercises and activities that we are all going to do. There's a little key that you all will follow throughout the presentation. You'll see these little light bulbs for a tip. When you see this little man doing an exercise, this is where it's time for us to get hands on the keyboard. We're going to code together and do the activities there. And then also we're going to have questions throughout the presentation that I'm going to ask you all. They're kind of just a group thinking, group challenging questions where I want to stop, talk about it for a minute. Try not to scroll beyond the question, because sometimes the answer to the question is immediately after the question. So when you see this, try to stop. I mean, of course you can, but it'll be more fun if you don't know the answer, and we can have an honest discussion. Cool. This is me. I'm Nikolay at Volodkin. This is my dog Mia here. The reason she's wearing this pajama, she doesn't typically wear it, but at that time we got her spayed. So I felt so bad for her having the cone around her head, because she's so little. She's like 12 pounds, and the cone was so big she would be like walking and hitting her cone on the ground and everything. So we decided this was a better solution than the cone. I'm founder of Ultimate QA, senior solutions architect at Sauce Labs. What that ultimately means is that now I work with customers literally all over the world, helping them to do automated testing better, of course, with Sauce Labs technology, but also without Sauce Labs technology. So for example, something that I'm doing this right now is 100% my initiative. I choose everything I want. I'm not forced into any technologies, and I want to share knowledge with testing best practices knowledge with you all. And that's kind of one of the things that I do for my job. And if you want to keep up with me, here's a bunch of different ways to follow me on whatever social media you prefer. We are also lucky enough to have our amazing teaching assistant, Josh Grant. He's also a solutions architect here at Sauce Labs, and I'll let him tell you all a little bit about himself.
All right, thanks, Nikolay. So hello, everyone. Really excited to be here. Great event. Nikolay is a super smart guy, really great presenter. So that's exciting, and it's a great cause to get behind. So a little bit about myself. I am also a senior solution architect at Sauce Labs. I've been working at Sauce for 3 years. I've been working in test automation for 11 years. Worked with a whole bunch of stuff. It's a great time to be in test automation. And so for today, I am helping out. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat or in the Q&A. Definitely let me know if something is off or wrong, and it should be a great time.
Cool, thanks, Josh. Again, if you haven't set up your environment yet, which hopefully most of you all have, there are setup instructions right here. Please follow those to set it up. I had Josh QA it, so it should be good. Let's go ahead and get started. So we're first going to jump into our end-to-end tests section. So here is what I hope you will learn by the end of this section: how to test a web application with functional browser tests. So the initial setup for this is to basically, if you just did the setup, you might have servers running. So you're just going to make sure you're killing everything, right? So you're killing everything, you're navigating to this directory, and you're doing npm install and start. So let's do that together. So here is my repo, right? You hopefully forked my GitHub repository and cloned it to your local environment. The reason you want that is we're actually going to be integrating our repositories into CI/CD. So you want to have your own forked copy of that so you can actually test it out in GitHub. We are working out of this folder. Let me show you all. I have a bunch of stuff in here, but we're doing all the work out of this testing for charity folder, right? And as you can see, I do have a server running. So you're going to kill just any servers you might have running. You're going to navigate to that directory, which I'm already in that directory. But if you're not, you navigate to testing for charity, my React app, and then you're going to do npm install and npm start. So that'll install all the dependencies, which probably already installed if you did a setup. And npm start is going to start up our web application. Yeah, so there it is. There is our super amazing web application. I spent a year working on this. If you need to hire me, you can hire me for side projects. I'm joking. So this web application is very simple. It was created using create React app, which is a command from React that allows you to very easily create an application. You can see here it has an image. This image I actually replaced with my dog battling another dog. This is my dog Mia. This was another dog at the park. They were super cute, so I wanted to replace it. Originally, there was like a React image here, and then all the rest here, this remains the same. And Learn React, I actually updated to point this URL to go to my blog instead of React.js. And so when we used create React app, it actually created this entire repository structure. So you can see this is the name we gave to our React application. And it came with a bunch of code in here, like all the code for the application. For example, this was the original image. Oh, there's a SVG, so can't show it, but this is the original image. I replaced it with another image. It even came with some tests and so on and so forth. We'll talk about that more as we learn. So we are here to talk about testing. So for testing that application, we have a testing strategy document. So here is our testing strategy and the requirements that our application needs to meet. So we have the expected behavior here. We're going to put in here whether it's been tested or not. In this column, we're going to talk about the type of test that we use to meet that requirement. And then here, we're going to talk about the technologies we use for that requirement. So here are the requirements. Our application renders, right? We definitely want that. We want to make sure that the link goes to the correct location, to make sure that the link opens in a new tab. We want to make sure that our app looks good to our users on Chrome and Safari on the most popular resolutions, right? You can probably break this up into two requirements if you want. One requirement for Chrome, one on Safari, right? I just put it in here for simplicity purposes. We want to make sure our app is accessibility friendly. Our front-end performance is at least a B. App is secure, and potentially multiple other testing types. Based on your all's opinion, did I kind of capture everything that we should test about this web application? Like if we meet these requirements here, are we satisfied for our application to go to production? What do you all think? So let's see, Paul said it really depends on the needs. That's definitely true. It depends on security. Do we need to test on mobile? Well, Daniel, it's my question to you. It's a web application. What would you want to test on mobile in that regard? Well, what kind of things are you worried would not work on mobile? Yeah, same for you, Pradeep. Feel free to let me know. What do you all think will not work on mobile, even though it's a web application? The look, design, resolution, awesome. Yup. Okay, cool. Totally agree with that. There's no API here, so this application doesn't have any contracts to meet. This is just a web application with no API backend. But good thinking. If it did, for sure. Yeah, love that. Yeah, love everything you guys said to write unbreakable tests. Definitely let me know. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, great ideas, y'all. I totally agree. The look and responsiveness on mobile is extremely important, right? You can't only test on web anymore, especially with nowadays most of our clients, most of our employers, right, must have responsive web applications with at least 50% of the traffic coming from mobile. So we need that. And that pretty much covers what everybody talked about. And I'll show you all how to achieve that. It'll be on the same kind of level as here, which is we're making sure that Chrome and Safari are the most popular resolutions, and we'll talk about how to make that happen in mobile.